Joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, former Pirate right fielder JC, Jacob Jenkins-Cowart, who just got a promotion, and we'll talk about that and his professional baseball life. JC, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to be on. How are you?
Doing great, and great to catch up with now former Pirates who are doing big things in the world of baseball. So let's talk about where in the world is Jacob Jenkins-Cowart. Talk about the promotion. What team you playing with now?
So I just got promoted to the Beloit Sky Carp in Beloit, Wisconsin. First time I've ever been to Wisconsin. I guess really we went to Cincinnati, and that's considered the Midwest. But I guess this is my first real experience in the Midwest. And right now we're in Appleton, Wisconsin, on the road against the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. That's the Brewers High A, and this place is really nice. Um, they called me up, I think, at the most perfect time ever because mid-May in Jupiter, we're starting to creep into the mid 90s, and I got off the plane here and it was sunny and 70, so pretty ideal.
Congrats, man, and I know it always doesn't work out like this, but a lot of times there are minor league spots that are near or somewhat in the same region as the professional team. So it kind of caught me off guard that the Marlins have an organization there in Wisconsin. It doesn't seem like a fit, but how about
Yeah.
the travels you've kind of gone through and the lifestyle of being a minor league baseball player? How have you handled that part of it so far off the field?
So the Florida State League was pretty simple. There were four teams on the East Coast and four teams on the Gulf Coast. So we really played the East Coast teams the majority of the time, and the only big travels were if we'd go across to Fort Myers or Clearwater, and that was only about a 3 hour bus trip. I've heard, I obviously haven't made a bus trip in the Midwest League, but I've heard there's some pretty big ones because I mean we got series in Iowa. To be honest with you, I don't really know much more than that. I've heard there's a bunch in Wisconsin, bunch in Iowa, um, Indiana, because I know there is one in where's Notre Dame located? What's that city called?
South Bend.
South Bend. There's a team in South Bend. Um, so I've heard that there's some pretty big bus rides, which I mean the bus isn't terrible. We always take two buses, so pretty much everybody has their own little row. Um, but the travel up here was pretty crazy. I got I got the call. I was sitting at dinner with my girlfriend and my two buddies. They had come to visit, and I got a phone call that I was going up at like 8 o'clock at night, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna fly out tomorrow at 7 a.m." So
So, do your
um,
buddies that are visiting you, do they like tag along to Wisconsin, or they head back
no,
home?
no. So they drove actually. They drove so that they could bring my dog down, which is
Oh
a
wow!
blessing because I hadn't seen her in a while. So it was like a 10 and a half hour drive for them. They were supposed to stay 4 days, and it was like they had been here for 8 hours. Like they had, so yeah. But I literally they helped me pack up my apartment, which you're pretty much living out of a suitcase anyways. It's not like I had that much stuff, but packed up the apartment in like 20 minutes, and then went to the field, and I had to like call one of the directors to let me in the field because it was like 9 o'clock. So to get my baseball stuff, and then I was on the way to the airport at 5 a.m. So just like that, 8 hours later, I guess, or seven.
Wow,
Wait,
life of a minor leaguer.
yeah. So
uh, JC, you got that great personality that all Pirate fans know, and you've shown off a little bit here with us at Pirate Radio over the years. How about kind of fitting in with the guys? Everybody is a professional, trying to be a
mhm.
big leaguer at this point. So, how about getting along with the guys in the locker room and because it's very individual at this stage. You're
Yeah,
trying to do better for yourself to keep on advancing, but how about the chemistry, locker room? Is there any of that at this level?
yeah. So not. I'm gonna put this the best way I can. The Marlins do a very good job of doing their best to give us a team feel. They implemented certain, I guess you could call them rules, but I guess regulations in the locker room to really make make an effort to have a team culture, and they do a really good job of it. But at the end of the day, it's professional baseball, so um, you can only get as close as you can to some of your teammates, especially
Yeah.
with guys moving all over the place whenever they're told to. But you know, I still try. I mean, I've always been. I mean, going to East Carolina, like you learn how to be a team guy. So I try and definitely make as many relationships as I can. But you really have your group of few guys that you really get close with, and that's how you pretty much stay sane in this transactional business.
Yeah. Jacob Jenkins-Cowart joining us. Let's talk on the field, Jacob, and what led to the promotion. How are things going as far as seeing the ball, hitting the ball, and how big of an adjustment has it been as you kind of go up college to I guess low A to high A? Do you see the progression and
Yeah.
the players getting better and better?
So I'm gonna preface this by saying in college, like I pretty much got away with swinging at everything in the strike zone. Um, Still got myself out from time to time, but I could still hit, borderline pitches hard enough to do some damage. And I just quickly found out it didn't work here. I mean, my first stint last year at the end of 2024, I hit like 190 and punched out like 40% of the time. Basically thought I could just go up there and just swing and I'd hit the ball just like I did in college. So I did a lot of work this offseason and spring training on my swing decisions, and found out that there was nothing wrong with my swing. It was just what I was swinging at. So really honing in on just the maturity, and it's really a discipline thing to stick to an approach is what has paid dividends for me, especially early this season, especially in the Florida State League, because Florida State League has a bunch of flamethrowers, young guys, but most of the time you're playing dodgeball at the same time. So yeah, so to have, because it's not just about taking balls, you still have to be ready to hit the strike. So I think that is really what's propelled me this year, and looking forward to keep getting better at it.
Josh Gross joined us the other day and said that one thing that's different and something he really enjoys is it's kind of on him now to do the
Hmm.
scouting, to do the work on his own rather than AK or Cliff putting together a plan for him, or
Yeah.
in your case, Palumbo or whoever helping you out. So how about grasping that part of it, JC? Was that different than it was at East Carolina, and how are you succeeding in that part of it?
Yeah, I did see that clip. That was really good stuff. I'd say at East Carolina that the coaches gave us a plan. They did the behind the scenes work for us, and they said, here's what we're going to be on. And now I've kind of obviously I do it myself, but I really kind of use the same process that the coaches used, because I mean it's pretty proven. I get the starting pitcher's information the night before. I watch video for a little bit, and then I look at his movement plots, which is a whole nother world we can we can get into if you really want to, but it's
I'm
pretty
gonna
difficult.
pretend I know what that is and just nod
Yeah,
my
so
head.
basically it's just how his fastball moves. Does it run? Does it cut? How his slider moves? Is it depthy? Is it a sweeper? Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then basically that hones it. Once I figure that out and I figure out what percentage he throws certain pitches, I figure out a zone that I'm going to look for. I've never been good at sitting on a certain pitch because if I'm sitting slider and I see a slider out of the hand, I pretty much swinging and it could bounce. So I like to look for zones. So if a guy is a righty's throwing and everything he's throwing is coming into me, cutter, slider, curveball, I'm going to look for the ball away. So if it starts in that zone, that's when I know I'm ready to go after it. But yeah, doing it on my own, I like it. I think it's more of a freedom thing, and it's there's nobody to blame if I'm wrong. So I like that aspect of it.
JC, speaking of the old Pirates, it got to be tough. I'm sure you can't watch and follow every single game, but I'm sure you look at scores every now and then, keep up with it. They have struggled this year. They have won two in a row against the league's top two teams this year with a win over South Florida last night. But
Hmm.
Clearwater tournament coming up next week. Despite what's happened this year, I still think they can go there and win it all. I'm sure you have that same belief. But
Yeah.
how tough is it to kind of see the team struggling right now?
Yeah, it's not what you want to see, especially like hanging out with all the guys in the clubhouse and they're how the Pirates doing this year, and they know, and I'm like, come on, man,
Come on.
because like I've played, I got a lot of teammates that I played against, so um, but yeah, it's not ideal, but Clearwater, anything can happen. I mean, you saw like 14 win Tulane go win the tournament 3 years in a row or something. Like
Right.
anybody can win that thing. It's all about who's playing well, and we have the guys, we have the talent, so hopefully they can put it together.
Softball
And they looked
team,
really good yesterday.
yeah, yeah, keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Dixon with a bomb and
Hmm.
pitching looked great. Softball team went on a little run down in Tampa and ended their quarterfinal win with a spike. And Parker Bird was sitting with me, and I said, that reminds me of something. Oh, yeah, Jenkins-Cowart broke out the spike every now and then. How's the fielding part going for you out there?
It's going really good. I have definitely progressed a lot more in my outfield work than I thought. I am kind of playing all three positions. I'm playing center today, but mostly
Oh,
right
well.
still. Um,
Is
but
center
man,
just like a completely different game, like as you go from spot to
I
spot?
I think like for the normal outfielder, like it's easier, but you still basically reading the ball off the bat is easier in center field, but you still have to have the tools to cover more ground. So
Yeah.
like not everybody can play center just because not everybody's fast enough. Um, and not everybody's got the reactions and the jumps. But reading the ball off the bat is definitely easier because there's less slice, there's less hook. The ball flies truer to center field. But there's definitely the higher you go up, there's less people that can play center field and make an impact for sure.
Jacob, did you have any interactions with Clayton McCullough, big league manager, Connor Norby, former Pirate with
I
the
did,
Marlins? You talked to those guys, and how many
yeah.
Pirates do you come across now playing baseball?
So Norby and I actually worked out all off season together in Greensboro. So we got pretty close this off season. He helped me out with a lot. I actually got my bat model from him. He opened his trunk one day and it was like Santa Claus, and he was like, "Pick any bat you want." Like, so I took one and ended up now that's the bat I've been swinging all year. So he's been really good to me. And Clayton's the man. I met him at the banquet a couple years ago for the
Oh,
first time,
cool.
but it was kind of just a small talk thing. Like I think that was my freshman year, so I wasn't really known yet. And then, but every time I saw him in spring training, he made an effort to speak to me. He didn't big league me or as you could say. And he's a really good guy. I think he knows what he's doing, and the Marlins are very lucky to have him.
That's
I
awesome,
would say,
Jacob. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, I'm trying to think about. You saw I faced Trey, of course. I got posted. Trying to think
Yeah.
of all the Pirates I've seen. Faced Trey. He's still unhittable. Um, Played against McChrystal in Daytona.
Oh, nice.
Um, I think he's doing well. Doing well still. He was doing well when we played him. So, um, I mean, there's guys everywhere. I feel like the more the years go on, there's more Pirates hashtag Pirates in the pros or however you guys do it.
Yeah, man, it's cool to see, and credit to Cliff and Jeff Palumbo, and credit to you guys as well. And hopefully that continues on. And now we're starting to see them more and more in the bigs. And I've
Yeah.
asked a couple of guys this week. I'll ask you, how is the old shortstop for ECU in the majors getting saves? It's still kind of weird to me to see, but awesome to see Zach
I
Agnos
still
and what he's
remember
doing.
that. Like, I don't want to like put words in anybody's mouth, but Coach G, from what I understand, really wanted Zach to get drafted as a shortstop because he was such a good shortstop. And where everybody's watching the draft and it's like Colorado Rockies select Zach Agnos, pitcher, and everybody's like, wait a minute. So, but I mean, it was a great pick for them. Like we talked about it, like he was a flamethrower with low mileage on his arm,
Yeah.
and he never really developed as a pitcher. He was just up there throwing, and he's got all those tools. So I mean, it worked out. Obviously, I mean he's doing it.
Jacob Jenkins-Cowart joining us. Jacob, people love hearing the baseball talk, but a lot of our listeners, they just like hearing sound bites. Could you give us an updated, come on, Sean, pretend he did something, screwed something up, and could you give us one?
It's like, come on, Sean.
Oh, man, that's perfect. Jacob, good stuff, man. Good luck. So who you got tonight? You said you're there in Wisconsin. Is that right?
Yeah, we're playing the Timberlake Rattlers again. We got 2 sevens today. We had a tornado watch last night that ended up being just a big cloud. So that canceled the game, and we had a nice, pretty sunset to look at after that.
There you go.
So we got 2 sevens today, and then we'll finish out the week.
Well, Shirley Rhodes here does a great job keeping up with all the former Pirates in the minors, and we'll have your numbers. So get us a few hits tonight and do your thing. But man, we're happy for you. Obviously, we're pulling for you back here in Greenville. So keep up the good work, JC. We'll talk again soon, man.
All right, thank you.